Welcome back to Mindset English, where we bring you captivating stories to fuel your English learning journey with inspiration and immersive listening practice. Today, we're diving deep into the extraordinary life of Bill Gates, a visionary whose name is synonymous with technological innovation and global philanthropy. This Level 3 graded reader is crafted to enhance your vocabulary, comprehension, and listening skills while taking you on a journey through the life of a man who reshaped the world with his intellect, ambition, and generosity. So, settle in and let's explore the remarkable story of Bill Gates, a tale of curiosity, perseverance, and impact that will inspire you to think big and pursue your dreams. William Henry Gates III, known to the world as Bill Gates, was born on October 28, 1955, in the vibrant city of Seattle, Washington. His family was comfortably upper-middle class, rooted in a tradition of hard work and community involvement. His father, William H. Gates Sr., was a respected attorney, known for his sharp legal mind and dedication to civic causes. His mother, Mary Maxwell Gates, was a former schoolteacher who became a prominent figure in charitable organizations, including the United Way. Bill, the second of three children, grew up alongside his older sister, Christy, and younger sister, Libby, in a household that thrived on intellectual curiosity. Family dinners were lively, often turning into spirited debates about politics, science, or the latest books. These discussions sparked Bill's inquisitive nature, encouraging him to question the world around him and seek answers with relentless determination. From an early age, Bill stood out for his insatiable thirst for knowledge. By the time he was 10, he had read the entire World Book Encyclopedia, a feat that left his parents in awe. His bedroom was a treasure trove of books, science fiction novels, history texts, and technical manuals stacked high, each one feeding his imagination. He didn't just read for information. He absorbed ideas, connecting them in ways that hinted at his future brilliance. Bill was also fiercely competitive, a trait that shone during family game nights. Whether playing Monopoly, Risk, or chess, he strategized with precision, determined to outsmart his opponents. His siblings and parents often found themselves outmatched by his quick thinking and relentless drive to win. This competitive streak would later become a cornerstone of his approach to business. But as a child, it was simply part of his personality. A boy who loved challenges and thrived on solving problems. School was a different story for young Bill. The standard curriculum of public schools felt stifling, failing to engage his restless mind. He often grew bored, his thoughts wandering to more complex ideas. Recognizing his exceptional potential, his parents made a pivotal decision to enroll him at Lakeside School, an elite private institution in Seattle known for its rigorous academic programs, and forward-thinking approach. Lakeside was a turning point in Bill's life, offering an environment where his intellect could flourish. In 1968, when Bill was just 13, the school's Mothers Club raised funds to acquire a teletype terminal, a rudimentary computer system connected to a distant mainframe via telephone lines. This was the late 1960s, a time when computers were massive, expensive machines, accessible only to corporations, universities, and government agencies. For Bill, the teletype was a revelation, a portal to a world of endless possibilities. The moment Bill sat at the teletype, he was captivated. He spent hours learning BASIC, a programming language designed for beginners, and quickly mastered its intricacies. His first program was a tic-tac-toe game, a simple yet ingenious creation that allowed players to compete against the computer. The thrill of coding, of making a machine follow his commands, was unlike anything he had ever experienced. Bill wasn't alone in his fascination. At Lakeside, he met Paul Allen, a senior student 2 years older, who shared his passion for computers. Despite their age difference, the two formed an immediate bond, spending late nights in the computer lab, experimenting, debugging, and dreaming of what computers could become. Their conversations weren't just about code. They envisioned a future where computers would be as common as televisions, a radical idea at the time. Their enthusiasm sometimes led to mischief. Bill, Paul, and 2 other friends, Rick Weiland and Kent Evans, formed the Lakeside Programmers Group, a tight-knit crew of tech enthusiasts who pushed the boundaries of their access. They once hacked into the system of the Computer Center Corporation, CCC, a company that provided Lakeside's computer time to gain extra hours. Their exploit was discovered, resulting in a temporary ban from the lab, but their ingenuity turned the situation around. The group offered to find and fix bugs in CCC's software in exchange for more computer time, a deal that showcased their resourcefulness and problem-solving skills. This early brush with hacking wasn't driven by malice. It was a testament to their curiosity and desire to explore the limits of technology. By high school, Bill and Paul were already thinking like entrepreneurs. At the age of 17, they launched their first venture, Traf-O-Data, a project aimed at analyzing traffic data for local governments. Using an Intel 8008 processor, they built a device to process traffic counts from rubber tubes placed on roads, helping municipalities optimize traffic flow and road planning. The setup was rudimentary, with Bill and Paul soldering circuits and writing code in a makeshift office. The project earned them $20,000, a significant sum for 2 teenagers in 1972, but more importantly, it gave them a taste of entrepreneurship. Traf-O-Data wasn't a runaway success, but it taught them how to combine technical expertise with business acumen, laying the groundwork for their future endeavors. Bill's academic brilliance was undeniable. In 1973, he scored an impressive 1590 out of 1600 on the SAT, a near-perfect score that secured his admission to Harvard University, one of the most prestigious institutions in the world. At Harvard, Bill initially pursued a pre-law major, following in his father's footsteps, but his heart remained with computers. He spent countless hours in Harvard's computer lab, coding and collaborating with friends like Steve Ballmer, a charismatic and energetic student who would later become Microsoft's CEO. Bill's time at Harvard was marked by intense intellectual exploration, but he struggled to find his place in the structured academic environment. His mind was always racing ahead, thinking about the potential of computers to transform society. Meanwhile, Paul Allen had left Washington State University to work at Honeywell, a technology company in Boston. The two stayed in close contact, often discussing the rapid advancements in computing. They sensed that a revolution was brewing, one that would bring computers out of corporate basements and into homes. That revolution arrived in January 1975, when Paul Allen came across an article in Popular Electronics magazine about the Altair 8800, a microcomputer kit developed by a small company called MITS. Unlike the massive mainframes of the era, the Altair was affordable and aimed at hobbyists, signaling the dawn of personal computing. Bill and Paul saw an opportunity to create software for this new platform, a chance to make computers more accessible and functional. In a bold move, Bill called MITS, claiming that he and Paul had developed a basic interpreter for the Altair. In reality, they hadn't written a single line of code, but Bill's confidence and vision convinced MITS to give them a chance. Over the next 8 weeks, Bill, still a Harvard sophomore, and Paul worked feverishly to create the interpreter. Bill wrote much of the code, often pulling all-nighters in the computer lab, while Paul focused on the technical specifications. They tested their software on a simulator, as they didn't have access to an actual Altair. When Paul flew to Albuquerque, New Mexico, to demonstrate the interpreter to MITS, it worked flawlessly on the first try. A remarkable feat, given the complexity of the task. This success marked the birth of Microsoft in April 1975, a company founded with a mission to put a computer on every desk and in every home. Bill's decision to drop out of Harvard to focus on Microsoft full-time was a gamble that stunned his family. His parents, particularly his father, were skeptical, believing that a Harvard degree was the safer path to success. But Bill was driven by a conviction that the personal computer revolution was imminent, and he wanted to be at its forefront. He and Paul relocated to Albuquerque, where MITS was based, and threw themselves into building Microsoft. The early days were chaotic, with a small team working out of a cramped office, coding for long hours, and negotiating deals with hardware manufacturers. Microsoft focused on developing basic interpreters for various microcomputers, establishing itself as a leader in the nascent software industry. The company's big break came in 1980, when IBM, a titan in the technology industry, approached Microsoft to provide an operating system for its new personal computer, the IBM PC. Bill and Paul didn't have an operating system ready, so they acquired QDOS, Quick and Dirty Operating System, from Seattle Computer Products for $50,000. They refined it into MS-DOS, Microsoft Disk Operating System, and licensed it to IBM, with a crucial condition. Microsoft retained the right to license MS-DOS to other manufacturers. This decision was a masterstroke, as IBM-compatible PCs, produced by companies like Compaq and Dell, flooded the market in the 1980s. MS-DOS became the industry standard, propelling Microsoft to unprecedented heights. By the mid-1980s, Microsoft was a major player in the tech industry, and Bill Gates was becoming a household name. In 1985, Microsoft released Windows 1.0, a graphical user interface that built on MS-DOS. Though rudimentary compared to modern standards, it was a bold step toward making computing more intuitive and user-friendly. Windows 1.0 allowed users to navigate with a mouse and run multiple programs in Windows, a significant departure from the text-based interfaces of the time. The launch was a milestone, but it was just the beginning. Bill's leadership style was intense and demanding. He was known for marathon coding sessions, often working 18-hour days, and for his sharp intellect, which could be both inspiring and intimidating. Employees described him as a relentless taskmaster who could dissect code or business strategies with surgical precision. He would ask probing questions, challenging his team to justify every decision, and expected nothing less than excellence. This rigor drove Microsoft's success, but also created a high-pressure environment where only the most resilient thrived. By 1986, Microsoft went public, and its stock soared, making Bill, at the age of 31, the world's youngest billionaire. His wealth grew exponentially as Microsoft's dominance expanded. But Bill remained focused on his vision. The 1990s were Microsoft's golden era, marked by a series of groundbreaking products. In 1990, Microsoft released Windows 3.0, a vastly improved version that gained widespread adoption. Its success was followed by Windows 95, launched in 1995, which became a global phenomenon. Windows 95 introduced the Start menu, taskbar, and a sleek interface that made computing accessible to millions. The launch was a cultural event, with long lines at stores and media frenzy, cementing Microsoft's place at the forefront of the tech revolution. Alongside Windows, Microsoft developed Microsoft Office, a suite of productivity tools including Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. These programs became indispensable for businesses, schools, and homes, further solidifying Microsoft's dominance. Bill's vision of a computer on every desk and in every home was becoming reality. But success brought scrutiny. In the late 1990s, Microsoft faced a high-profile antitrust lawsuit from the U.S. government. The case, filed in 1998, accused Microsoft of engaging in anti-competitive practices to maintain its monopoly in the operating system market. At the heart of the lawsuit was Microsoft's decision to bundle its Internet Explorer browser with Windows, which critics argued stifled competition from rivals like Netscape. Bill testified during the trial, defending Microsoft's practices with characteristic intensity. His combative demeanor during depositions drew criticism, but he remained steadfast in his belief that Microsoft's innovations benefited consumers. In 2001, the court ruled that Microsoft had violated antitrust laws, and while the company avoided a breakup, it was subject to oversight and restrictions. The case was a humbling moment for Bill, prompting him to reflect on his leadership and Microsoft's role in the industry. In 2000, Bill stepped down as Microsoft's CEO, handing the role to his longtime friend Steve Ballmer. He remained chairman and chief software architect, focusing on long-term strategy and innovation. That same year, Bill and his wife, Melinda, whom he had married in 1994, founded the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, a pivotal moment in his life. The foundation was born out of their shared belief that their immense wealth could be used to address some of the world's most pressing challenges, from poverty to disease to education. With an endowment that grew to tens of billions of dollars, the foundation became one of the largest philanthropic organizations in the world, funding initiatives that would transform millions of lives. Bill approached philanthropy with the same rigor and data-driven mindset that had defined his time at Microsoft. He immersed himself in learning about global health, studying diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS. The Gates Foundation partnered with organizations like the World Health Organization to fund vaccine development and distribution, particularly in developing countries. One of its most ambitious goals was to eradicate polio, a disease that had plagued humanity for centuries. Bill committed billions of dollars to the cause, traveling to remote regions to meet with health workers and see the impact of his work firsthand. His visits to villages in Africa and Asia were not just symbolic. They informed his strategies, ensuring that the Foundation's efforts were grounded in real-world needs. Education was another cornerstone of the Foundation's work. In the U.S., Bill and Melinda supported initiatives to improve public schools, focusing on teacher training, curriculum development, and access to technology. Globally, they funded programs to increase literacy and provide educational opportunities for underserved communities. Bill's approach to philanthropy was hands-on. He read scientific papers, consulted with experts, and analyze data to identify the most effective solutions. His ability to bridge technology, policy, and humanitarianism made him a unique figure in the world of philanthropy. In 2008, he stepped down from his day-to-day role at Microsoft to focus on the foundation, a decision that marked a new chapter in his life. Bill's transformation from tech mogul to philanthropist earned him widespread admiration. He was named one of Time magazine's most influential people of the 20th century, and his speeches and writings, including his annual Gates Notes, offered insights into his thinking on global challenges. He became a leading voice on climate change, investing in clean energy technologies and authoring books like How to Avoid a Climate Disaster in 2021. His call for innovation to address environmental challenges resonated with governments, businesses, and individuals alike. Bill's ability to leverage his wealth, influence, and intellect for global good redefined what it meant to be successful. In his personal life, Bill and Melinda raised 3 children, Jennifer, Rory, and Phoebe, in a relatively modest household, despite their immense wealth. They instilled values of hard work, curiosity, and giving back, ensuring their children understood the responsibility that came with privilege. In 2021, Bill and Melinda announced their divorce after 27 years of marriage, a decision that surprised many. They emphasized their commitment to continuing their work together at the Gates Foundation, ensuring that their philanthropic mission remained intact. The divorce was a personal setback, but Bill's focus on his work remained unwavering. Bill never fully stepped away from technology. He remained a Microsoft board member until 2020 and continued to advise the company on strategic matters. He also invested in innovative startups, from artificial intelligence to biotechnology, staying true to his lifelong passion for innovation. His ventures included Breakthrough Energy, a fund to support clean energy solutions, and investments in health technologies to combat diseases. Bill's ability to stay at the forefront of technological and social change made him a role model for aspiring entrepreneurs and philanthropists. As Bill entered his late 60s, his legacy was vast and multifaceted. He had built Microsoft into a global powerhouse, making personal computing a reality for billions. Through the Gates Foundation, he had saved millions of lives by improving access to health care and education. His story is one of vision, perseverance, and transformation. From a curious boy tinkering with a teletype terminal to a billionaire philanthropist addressing the world's biggest challenges, Bill Gates showed that one person's ideas could change the course of history. His journey reminds us that success is not just about personal achievement, but about using one's talents and resources to make a difference. Bill's life is a testament to the power of curiosity and determination. As a child, he read encyclopedias for fun. As a teenager, he wrote code that amazed his peers. As an adult, he built an empire and then used his wealth to tackle global problems. His story inspires us to think big, work hard, and give back, no matter where we start. Whether it was writing his first program at Lakeside or funding vaccines for children in remote villages, Bill approached every challenge with the same intensity and clarity of purpose. His legacy is not just in the products he created or the wealth he amassed, but in the lives he touched and the future he helped shape. Thank you for joining us at Mindset English for this deep dive into the extraordinary life of Bill Gates. We hope this story has not only enriched your English skills, but also inspired you to pursue your dreams with passion and purpose. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Stay tuned for more engaging stories and listening practice to keep your English learning exciting and rewarding. Keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you next time.